Melissa Sue Anderson, born on September 26, 1962 in Berkeley, California, was introduced to the world of entertainment at a young age. Raised in a household that valued education and creativity, Anderson's family moved to Los Angeles when she was still a child. It was there that her striking emotional depth and expressiveness caught the attention of talent scouts. Anderson's early career began with television commercials, but her acting skills quickly transitioned to guest roles on popular TV shows like Bewitched and The Brady Bunch. Unlike many child actors who leaned heavily on their charm, Anderson displayed a remarkable emotional maturity that allowed her to tackle more complex material. It was clear from the start that she had a unique ability to connect with her audience on a deeper level. The role that defined her, Mary Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. In 1974, Anderson's career took a major turn when she was cast as Mary Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie, the beloved series based on Laura Ingalls Wilder's autobiographical novels. As the eldest daughter of Charles and Caroline Ingalls, played by Michael Landon and Karen Grassel, Anderson brought a thoughtful and introspective quality to Mary, which balanced the spirited nature of her on-screen sister, Laura, Melissa Gilbert. Anderson's performance was grounded, reflecting Mary's studious, responsible, and quietly sensitive character. The storyline that saw Mary lose her sight due to illness was particularly challenging, and Anderson's portrayal of her character's gradual descent into blindness remains one of the most emotionally resonant arcs in television history. Anderson's subtlety in conveying grief and resilience earned her critical acclaim and an Emmy nomination, a child star who sought depth beyond the spotlight. Despite the success of Little House on the Prairie, Anderson was determined not to let her identity be solely defined by the role of Mary Ingalls. Even as the show became a cultural phenomenon, Anderson continued to seek out challenging material. She appeared in television films and dramatic projects that allowed her to explore different aspects of her acting range. In 1980, she starred in the TV movie Which Mother Is Mine, a role that earned her an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actress. Anderson's ability to tackle emotionally complex narratives outside of her iconic role as Mary Ingalls demonstrated her ambition to grow as an actress and not be typecast. Her decision to take on such projects marked a conscious effort to find fulfillment beyond the public's expectations. Stepping away from the Hollywood spotlight. In the 1980s and 1990s, Melissa Sue Anderson made the decision to step back from the relentless pace of Hollywood. Unlike many of her peers, Anderson did not seek out constant visibility in the entertainment industry. Instead, she began to choose her roles carefully, prioritizing her personal life and artistic integrity over fame. During this time, she appeared in several films such as Happy Birthday to Me, 1981, and X-Men, 1993 to 1994, as well as TV dramas. However, her appearances were infrequent, and they reflected a deliberate shift away from the pressures of Hollywood. This period in her life allowed Anderson to recalibrate her career and focus on what truly mattered to her: personal fulfillment, family, and meaningful creative work. A new chapter in Canada, embracing family life. In 2010, Anderson took a significant step in her personal life by becoming a Canadian citizen. After years of living in the US, she and her family relocated to Montreal, Canada. The move marked the beginning of a new chapter, one that allowed Anderson to focus on her family and enjoy a quieter, more balanced lifestyle away from the constant media attention. This relocation was not just a geographical change, but a philosophical one, as it reflected Anderson's desire for privacy, stability, and a deeper connection to her values. In 2007, Anderson and her family officially became Canadian citizens, marking their bond to their new home and their commitment to a peaceful, family-oriented life. Reflections on her time in Hollywood. As Anderson settled into her new life in Canada, she reflected on her experiences in Hollywood and the complex relationships that shaped her career. One of the most significant figures in her life was Michael Landon, who portrayed her father, Charles Ingalls, on Little House on the Prairie. Landon was a charismatic and visionary leader, but his intensity could also be overwhelming, particularly for younger cast members like Anderson. While Anderson admired Landon's creative instincts and the success he brought to the series, she also experienced the emotional cost of working under his demanding leadership. In recent years, she has been more open about the challenges she faced growing up on set, acknowledging that while Landon was a genius, he wasn't always approachable. A complicated relationship with A complicated relationship with Michael Landon. Melissa Sue Anderson's experience working with Michael Landon was one of admiration mixed with emotional distance. Landon's presence on set was undeniable, and he commanded respect from everyone, but Anderson found it difficult to connect with him personally. "There was a wall there, and you felt it," she later recalled. Anderson's character, Mary, was given one of the most challenging arcs in television history when she lost her sight, and while it earned her an Emmy nomination, it also placed immense pressure on her. She described the experience as one that pushed her harder than anything she had ever done before. Landon demanded perfection, and at the time, Anderson didn't fully understand the weight of those expectations. She later reflected on how this pressure impacted her emotionally as a young actress. Tensions behind the scenes. Learning to protect herself. As Little House on the Prairie progressed, Anderson found herself increasingly aware of subtle tensions behind the scenes. Landon, being the central creative force on the show, often played favourites, which created an atmosphere of unspoken competition among the cast. Anderson noted that she quickly learned where she stood in the hierarchy of the set, and while the dynamics were not personal, they were certainly noticeable. "It wasn't personal," she said. "It was just how Michael operated." Over time, this created a sense of isolation for Anderson, as she realised that she had to protect herself emotionally while navigating the complex world of Hollywood. Instead of confronting these issues head-on, Anderson withdrew, finding solace in her own space away from the drama. Reclaiming her narrative. Embracing her own truth. At 63, Melissa Sue Anderson has found peace with her past. Her truth is not about exposing secrets or casting blame, but about reclaiming her own narrative. She has acknowledged the challenges of growing up in the spotlight, where she was a child doing her best in an adult world. "I was just a child doing the best I could," Anderson reflected. "And now I finally understand that my experience mattered too." She speaks with calm honesty about the complexities of her career and the lessons she learned along the way. Anderson has made peace with the past, no longer carrying bitterness or resentment. Instead, she has embraced the lessons, growth, and emotional maturity that came from navigating the challenges of being a child star in Hollywood. Life defined by family and personal fulfillment. Beyond her career, Melissa Sue Anderson's life has been shaped by her commitment to her family. In 1990, she married television writer and producer Michael Sloan, and together they built a family that became the true center of Anderson's life. Their marriage, grounded in mutual respect and love, stood in stark contrast to the volatility often associated with Hollywood relationships. Anderson and Sloan welcomed 2 children, and as her children grew, Anderson made the conscious decision to prioritize motherhood. This choice allowed her to step away from the relentless pace of Hollywood and create a life that was centered around stability, love, and the values she held dear. The legacy of a thoughtful career and a balanced life. Melissa Sue Anderson's career in Hollywood may not have been marked by constant exposure, but it was defined by thoughtful choices and a deep commitment to personal integrity. As she embraced life as a mother and a wife, she created a legacy that went beyond the roles she played on screen. Her decision to relocate to Canada, raise her family away from the spotlight, and focus on her personal happiness speaks to her understanding that true fulfillment comes from within, not from the approval of others. Today, Anderson is remembered not just for her role on Little House on the Prairie, but for the quiet strength with which she navigated a complex and demanding industry while staying true to her values.